everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to start a bullet journal for beginners. So this is going to be a very no-frills bullet journal setup video, and there's also a surprise at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Let's get started. In order to start bullet journaling, you will need something to journal on, whether that be an iPad, a notepad, or a couple sheets of paper. This is the Leuchtturm 1917, and you will need a writing instrument as well. Again, that could be an Apple Pencil or a ballpoint pen. This one is a Uni Jetstream and it is a ballpoint pen. I always recommend starting with a simple ballpoint pen just because they tend to be more compatible with a wider variety of paper types. If you do want to start with an instrument that does relay a little bit more ink, such as a gel pen or a fountain pen, then I suggest you pairing it with a notebook or paper that has a higher GSM. That just means GSM is grams per square meter, so that means that the paper is a little bit heavier or thicker, and so when you write with a gel pen or a fountain pen, it won't bleed through. Aside from a pen and paper, other supplies that you can get if you're feeling a little bit extra is a simple ruler and a highlighter in a single color. You don't need all the highlighters in the world. You'll live with one, I promise. Okay, moving on to actual setup, the first spread that I think you'll find very useful is to have a key, and this is something that you can reference to at all time. When writer Carol created the bullet journal, he also did create a key as well, so feel free to use his. It is available on his website or on his YouTube channel as well. The one that I have created, which you can see me drawing right now, I personally find easier to use just because it builds off of one symbol primarily. So you have a task as a dash and then you cross it to make it completed. You can add a little arrow forwards or backwards or continue the dash to cross out a task. I just find it the easiest to remember and more satisfying to see when all things are said and done. So here is a quick close-up of that as well, and I can get into how to use each of these later on in the video. The next spread that I think is a good one to have is an index. So an index just tells you which page contains which content. It is something that once again you can reference to, and I will show you exactly how once we get some more pages going. Next spread is the year at a glance, which is also known as the future log, and basically it gives you a bird's eye view of all of the events, birthdays, and appointments coming up over the year. So then when it gets to the month that it's in, you have a reference point and you can migrate that task from your year at a glance to your monthly spread. A lot of the time people choose to have a small calendar to correspond with their months, and this is totally a personal preference. I've done it in the past and it is really helpful, but it does take a lot more time, and I said this was going to be a no-thrills setup and I'm sticking with that. So for this you just need to divide each page into 3 sections and do a total of 6 months per 2 pages. And when there is a birthday, you can indicate that with a number. So for example, in the month of May, it is my Mormor's birthday, my grandmother, it is on May 9th, so I just put that in under the May section of my year at a glance, so then when I get to my May monthly spread, I can quickly look at my year at a glance, know that it's then, and then put that in my month. And I'll show you that later on in the video. Now that this spread is done, I'm just counting the pages to see how many it took up. It came out to be 4, and then I'm putting that in my index. So now I know my year at a glance are pages 1 through 4. So if I ever want to reference my year at a glance again, I know exactly where to find it. The next spread is your month at a glance or your monthly. You can choose to set up a title page if you wish. If you want to put your goals or some extra tasks, you can put that here, but having a title page is not very necessary. And the month at a glance that I've chosen for this video is just a very simple linear month at a glance. I know a lot of people when they jump into bullet journaling, they want to do the calendar view, but it actually takes a lot more time to set up a calendar than it does to just do this linear month at a glance. So in order to do that, you're just going to number the page from 1 until however many days there are in that month. And then to the left of that, I like to put the corresponding day so that I know which day of the week corresponds to the day of the month. Then you can use your highlighter to go over this, just so that it stands out a little bit more. The next thing that you're going to do is divide this month into weeks just with a straight line, and this is probably my best tip. If you're a beginner in bullet journaling, I would forego the weekly, like making a separate weekly spread. I wouldn't do that, and instead I would just use your monthly as a kind of week as well. And the reason I say this is because the bullet journaling system kind of works as a funnel. You start with your year, and then you go your month, and then you go your week, and then you go your day. And keeping up with each of those can be a lot. And the one that I found most redundant when I was a beginner in bullet journaling was the week. I found that I was leaving them blank and they weren't very useful. Once you have those divided, that is when you look at your year at a glance to see if there are any dates. So here we have my Mormore's birthday, and so I put that in on May 9th to remind myself. Once again, you can now put the month of May in your index. And the final spread that I'm recommending for beginners today is just a daily spread. So I'm rocking with the month of May, that's what we've been talking about. So I'm just going to write the date at the top, and then I'm going to begin. I always suggest putting reminders at the top so you can see that is a reminder or an appointment because it has the little triangle. I am adding a note to that so I can add more details just to bring my laptop, and I'm going to highlight that to bring more attention to it. The next thing that I'm going to do is put in my tasks. So my tasks are indicated with these little straight line dashes. And I know this because it's in my key. So I'm going to fold my laundry, buy some groceries, paint my nails, and start a project. The ones that I crossed off are ones that I've done, and I did not start my project. So I have two things that I can do with this. I can either schedule it, which means that I'm dedicating a new date to that, and that would go into my monthly, or I'm going to migrate it, which means to move it to another day forward. So I can just migrate that to May the 2nd. What I love about dailies is that they can take up as much or as little space as you need. They are extremely customizable. Those are the spreads that I recommend for beginners, and I wanted to show you how flexible they are. So it doesn't matter the size of your notebook or the brand, you can still make this system work for you. Here I have just a little pocket bullet journal, and I've done the exact same thing. If you are worried about keeping up with your bullet journal and maybe you don't want to make the spreads yourself, I do have one more alternative for you. Drum roll please. I have made my very own printable bullet journal. This is available on my Etsy, and I'm not trying to do too much self-promo. I'm just going to go over what's included. So you get everything mentioned in this video, starting with a title page where you can write your goals or your tasks. You get a key. You can write down your own customized key. You get a numbered index. This is if you want to do just every number to a page. This one gives you 1 to 18. You get your year at a glance for all 12 months. You get your month at a glance for all 12 months. And then you get pages at the back that you can print to reuse. So you get a blank index, you get a blank month at a glance, and you get a blank weekly if you are wanting a weekly. And while still using minimal supplies, this is how I would use it. I would start by putting in my goals, so maybe drink some more water, read some books, learn some Swedish, and then I would go in and start on my key. I do really like the key that I've been using throughout this whole video, so I'm going to keep that in here, but I have left enough room. If you ever want to come back and add some more symbols, you can do that, and you can also reprint that page if you just have a ton more. Now, since for the purpose of this video, I showed that throughout May, it was kind of sprawling across pages where it wasn't just page 1 or page 2, it was page 1 to 4. So that is why I have left a blank spread at the back where you can do that sprawling option if that is what you have. And in your monthly overview, not only have I given you a ton of room for all of your birthdays, appointments, and dates, but I did also include a calendar just for your visual reference. I know I said that it was a little more work to include, so that is why I have gone ahead and done that for you. And then for your monthlies, I have given you 12 of the vertical monthlies that I have talked so much about. Not only are the weeks divided, but you have a ton of room in case different things come up and things shift around. But once again, you do also get a blank monthly, so when you run out of this year, you can always reprint them. Finally, I have added a blank weekly. You can reprint this a billion times for all of the weeks to come. I really like the Hobonichi Weeks layout, so I took inspiration from that, but I have left you a good spaced section for any goals and your brain dump, as well as a spot where you can write down tasks or a tracker or anything you'd like. And at the top, there's a title that says week of, and then you can customize it with hand lettering, washi, stickers, whatever you'd like. There's enough room there for you. Anyway, guys, this has been such a labor of love. I made this planner with honestly just what I thought would be the most helpful for a beginner or someone that just wants a no-frills bullet journal setup. I have seen plenty of printable bullet journal setups on Etsy, and I just thought they were kind of overwhelming. They are beautiful, but for me, I would want something a little more simple or pared down, and that is what I've done here. There's absolutely no pressure to purchase. Again, the reason why I did this video was to show you how to make a beginner bullet journal, and if that is getting a little scrap of paper, that is amazing. I've just left this as an option for you in case you don't want the fuss and muss of setting up a bullet journal, but still want to feel a part of things. And that is all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.